Security frantic as soon as Trump and family land in D.C. after who suddenly showed up. The violence in the country has been on the rise thanks to anti-American groups such as Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Sadly, that violence has only continued to grow after the brutal clashes that took place in Charlottesville, Virginia over a week ago. President Trump has done his best to quell the rising tensions in the country, but nothing has worked thus far. Now President Trump and his family have arrived back in Washington, D.C., after a 17-day working vacation in Bedminster, New Jersey, and everyone on his security team is on high alert after who was expected to show up. Trump is not one to let grass grow under his feet and is always working hard to get our country back on track. Even while the White House was being renovated due to it falling into disrepair, President Trump continued to work hard for the country he loves so much. The mainstream media, in their quest to paint Trump as a racist bigot, will often look over the good he has done in order to cause more division. For instance, during his working vacation, Trump signed into law a bill that will provide over $2 billion to open new Veterans Affairs Department medical facilities and fund care for veterans seeking medical care outside the government system. That's great news, and you would think that would be all over the news, but it isn't. The mainstream would rather stir the pot by reporting that President Trump took the side of white supremacists after the violent clash in Charlottesville, Virginia that claimed the life of one Antifa member. So, now these hate groups such as Antifa and Black Lives Matter are even more bloodthirsty than ever before, which has Trump's security on high alert. On Tuesday night, President Trump has planned to hold a rally at the Phoenix Convention Center, and there are rumors that this rally will be more chaotic than ever before. If you remember during the election the violence that these out-left members caused to Trump supporters, the mainstream media would rather paint these savages as protectors of America from fascists, but in all actuality, they are the ones that are destroying it. Even the mainstream media such as CNN has now attempted to normalize Antifa's violent acts by saying that their methods are peace through violence. Here is more from Breitbart. In a feature story on Antifa protesters who physically assault those they disagree with, CNN lays out the narrative that the leftist protesters are driven to violence in an effort to achieve peace. On the morning of Donald Trump's inauguration, Kevilbat hunted through a closet in his parents' Virginia home for the darkest clothes he could find, CNN reports. The 19-year-old didn't own much in black, the color he knew his fellow protesters would wear head to toe on the streets of Washington that day. "I thought, there's a very good chance that I might get arrested, that my whole life could be radically altered in a negative way if I kept driving, and I was really close to turning around," Bat told CNN. "But I think the rationale is that even if it did negatively affect my life, I had still contributed to this movement that was necessary. I was still making an effort to make other people's lives better, even if it made my life worse, and once I realized that I had no regrets." Bat, who was arrested, is used as an introduction to the people who identify as the Antifa movement, which CNN reports is not the same as the Democrats or other liberals who support them. Antifa, according to CNN, has come to represent what experts who track these organizations call the hard left, an ideology that runs afield of the Democratic Party platform and supports oppressed populations as it protects the amassing of wealth by corporations and elites. CNN also speculates that Antifa is a grassroots organization that lacks central leadership, although it has been documented by Breitbart News that powerful leftists, including George Soros, are funding protests and protesters. Describing those protesters as anti-Trump on society's fringe, including illegal aliens and transgender people, they embrace violence. Antifa leaders admit they're willing to physically attack anyone who employs violence against them or who condones racism, as long as force is used in the name of eradicating hatred, CNN reports. CNN also notes the connection between Antifa and Nazi Germany, even if the media outlet and many others characterize people who are targeted by Antifa as the ones with Nazi sympathies. Anti-fascists and the Black Bloc tactic originated in Nazi Germany and resurfaced in the United Kingdom in the 1980s. Large numbers of Antifa activists first appeared in the United States at anti-World Trade Organization protests in 1999 in Seattle, and then more recently during the Occupy Wall Street movement, CNN reports. So, it should come as no surprise why Trump is beefing up security at his rally in Phoenix, Arizona. These people on the extreme left will use violence to achieve their goals of destroying the country, which is why we need to be vigilant at all times and keep President Trump in our prayers. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Share this on Facebook and Twitter along with your comments.